Uh, I'd like to first acknowledge the Spurs. I mean, obviously it was a difficult uh, series from them injury-wise and circumstantially. So uh, they're a class organization. They've been doing it year after year after year for seems like decades. Um, and it's unfortunate how it went down for them, but they're definitely an organization that will bounce back. Um, I'm sure of it. They've done it many times before. Our guys, I got to give them credit too. They've been phenomenal so far in our postseason run. They've tried to do everything that we've asked them to do. Tried to stay focused. Tried to stay locked in defensively, and it's paid off in our wins and most of our performances. You look down at the box score, and KD had a heck of a game. Scoring. He was very efficient with his 29 points. He had 12 rebounds for us. But I thought tonight he was great defensively. Very few breakdowns on the defensive end on his part. He was locked in, followed the game plan, and I thought he was spectacular for us on that end of the floor. Steph, he was Steph. He scored the ball, he shot the ball well for us, and he got us going. He helped get us going when they go on a run. It seemed like KD or Steph more often than not would hit a big three to keep the separation at hand. Our guys continually share the basketball with the 30 assists. At the end of the day, it's a good win for us, and it's hard. I don't care who you're playing. To make it to the NBA Finals, to win your conference finals, it's a big task. It's a huge accomplishment, and I tip my hat off to all of our players. Our coaching staff was phenomenal, management and ownership, and then all of our fans back in the Bay Area.
Sam Amick, USA Today. Mike, you spent a lot of time around Manu, and certainly he could be retiring. How do you see his legacy, and for you personally, just what kind of memories come to mind as far as who he is and the way he competed?
Wow. I've been in this thing since 1992, and just as a person, he's one of the all-time greatest that I've come across. I don't know if there are many people better than him as individuals. It's a sad day. It's also a joyful day because he's brought a lot, not only to the Spurs organization, Sam, to basketball all around the world. He's brought a lot of joy for a lot of people for many years. And yeah, he's going to be remembered for the titles and the scoring and all that other stuff. But you talk about a guy that's as talented as he is, could have done anything in the NBA for many years. He was humble enough to be one of the first to accept coming off the bench graciously. That speaks volumes. And in my opinion, it's helped set a trend going forward because I know I have used it. I'm sure other coaches have used it. But you can always look back and say, hey, remember that guy named Manu Ginobili? He graciously did it, and they won umpteen titles because of it. That just embodies who that guy is from day one.
Mike, first row. You guys have had 3 closeout games, and in each time, you guys have really taken control of the game right away. You didn't leave anything to chance. You seemed to play with a lot of aggressiveness. There was no let-up. What does that focus say about your team?
Again, in my opinion, it starts with Steve Kerr. He's our head coach. He's our leader. He's been saying it from day one. Lock in defensively and keep it simple offensively. And we had a couple breakdowns defensively. We turned the ball over a couple of times on the offense end of the floor. But our veteran leaders, they tried to right the ship early, and it showed as time went on, and we were able to create some separation. So I give credit to Steve and all the guys in the locker room for locking in defensively and keeping it simple offensively.
Does a start to a closeout game like that, when it happens now consistently in one playoff year, say anything about?
Say it again.
When you have three starts like that each time in a closeout game, does that say anything about the makeup and the approach of this team?
It does, and that's why, again, even though Steve was not on the sidelines tonight, that's why I give him credit, because he's laid such a terrific foundation with this group, and he's given them ownership. I've been saying it the whole series. I've been saying it the whole playoff run, and our guys have handled it the right way. And they know, a lot of times they know before we do what they need to do in order to right the ship if they're not playing the correct way. So give credit to Steve, give credit to that group for coming out and trying to close the game the right way tonight.
Mike, back to Manu for a moment. When the crowd was chanting Manu, Manu, and all the emotions were flying around the gym, did it seem like you were part of a historical moment?
As crazy as it sounds, yes. You know, I know that I'm looking forward to the day to tell my grandkids I was there for his last game. You know, a lot of great players and great people have come through this organization. You feel that way about Manu. You feel that way about Tim. You know, Tony one day, David Robinson. It was just not only great players but great people, and to hear the crowd serenade him like that was fun. And I was glad that I was here for it.
Guys, we're going to take two more.
Coach, Luis Ortiz, Telemundo, San Antonio. Given the injuries to the Spurs and your relationship with Coach Pop, how do you feel, or how much sympathy do you have, kind of, although you have to compete and you know you have to come out and win, but for him, and what do you tell him after the game?
No, you know, really, I let him talk to me. You know, I just responded. You know, he's been here, done it many times, and he's about as gracious to me and my family as anybody has been through my entire life. And so I just listened to him. But yeah, it was tough for those guys. But he said it before the series even started. You know, he called, we talked, we laughed. He said, "Hey, I love you." I told him I loved him, and he said, "But you know, once this starts, we're going to try to kick your ass." I said, "Okay, it's on then." So, you know, the injuries happen. It's part of the game. But at the end of the day, they still wanted to win, and we did too.
Mike, Kurt Bowles from the Austin American-Statesman. As dominant as y'all have been in the postseason, do you worry about any type of lack of edge in close games when things are right down to the wire?
Well, we feel like, you know, the score is kind of misleading because we feel like we can play better. There are things on both sides of the ball that we can clean up, and you know, and that's what's, I guess that's what's got our guys' attention or our focus, because you know, we've been preaching certain things, and for the most part they've been doing it, but we've had lapses to where they've been big enough to our guys know that in order to, you know, get to our ultimate goal of winning the whole thing, we got to be better on both ends of the floor. So our guys are aware. We feel like if anybody or if there's any game that's close down the stretch, we have enough talent to win it on both ends of the floor, and our execution will help pay off if we're ever put in that position.
Thanks, Mike.
This one.
First off, I want to start off by, number one, you know, just sending condolences and well wishes to those in Manchester, you know, affected by that act of terrorism, which, you know, is rough. I can't say that I've been through it or know how they feel, but, you know, I know how it feels to lose loved ones, and it's never a great thing. So just send our condolences to them, and also want to congratulate the Spurs on a great season. Obviously not ending the way they want, you know, but stand-up organization, you know, always one of the teams right there at the end, you know, and, you know, obviously this isn't the end of them. I'm getting Kawhi back healthy, you know, and coming back next year. I know they'll come back strong. So, you know, I want to congratulate them on a great season as well. I mean, obviously it's something that you're going to appreciate. You know, you try not to take it for granted. It just doesn't happen every year, you know, where you're headed to the NBA Finals. So you appreciate it, but, you can definitely sense a little different type of feeling where it's, it's all right, it's great, and everybody's excited about it, but you just see that a difference, and it's still kind of business as usual. We're not finished type of attitude yet, which is great. You definitely want to have that, and knowing that we need 4 more wins to accomplish our main goal.
Draymond, as a competitor, beating the Spurs when they face so many injuries, does it have kind of a spoiled taste? If you will?
No, you have to be who's out on the floor. And obviously, as a competitor, you want to play a team at full strength. That's just the nature of it. But at the end of the day, we know we also play a sport where injuries happen. And, we've been affected by some injuries before, and we know the feeling. But at the same time, regardless of who's out on the floor, you still got to go out there and win. We didn't just go play Sisters of the Poor. We played the San Antonio Spurs. This is a team that can still win no matter who they put on the floor. And you know that each and every time you step on the floor against these guys, no matter who they have out there, they can still win. And so obviously it sucks that Kawhi wasn't there and Tony wasn't there and David wasn't out there. But at the end of the day, a win is a win, and you have to be whoever is out there against you.
Dave Schilling, Bleacher Report. Do you think, piggybacking on that last question, you guys can move on from that sort of like dirty talk chatter that's been going on in the media that sort of has been blown up since Game 1?
I forgot it was going on. We've been moved on from that a long time ago. We just play basketball.
Draymond, Kirk Bowles from the Austin American-Statesman. In your 12 wins, is there one area you feel like y'all have improved the most?
I think our defensive intensity has been amazing. I think we can still improve on the attention to detail on that side of the ball. And, that can help lead us to a championship, and it'll be important in order to try to win a championship. But, overall, I think we've done a great job of locking in on the defensive side, scrambling around, trying to take away teams' number one option. And that doesn't necessarily mean the player, just, trying to make them go to a second and third option in the set, and also trying to cover that. I think we've been doing a great job of that.
How did you feel for Kevin in this moment? How joyous was he? I mean, you've had a few finals, but I think this is his first in about 5 years.
Yeah, obviously happy, for him to be sharing this moment with him after all these went through, with joining, the squad and leaving OKC. To be headed to the NBA Finals is a great way, to combat all that talk. And, to win it will be even better. He doesn't seem like he's overjoyed or anything like that, excited to be headed to the Finals. But at the same time, he knows, he didn't make the decision he made to go to the Finals. He made a decision he made, number one, for just his own life, and where he was at in his life and what he wanted to do, but also to win a championship, to go win, not just go to the Finals. No one remembers second place. No one cares who lost in the Finals. It's about winning. So we're there. That's the first step. Now it's about winning, and you can tell he has that mindset.
Front row to your left, Scott Howard Cooper from NBA.com. You guys have been pretty close to unbeatable since you came through San Antonio near the end of the regular season. What in particular has clicked for you guys? And that was the game where there was so much attention on who didn't play. Did that game in particular spur this team forward?
I think, obviously anytime you can play against a great organization, great team like the Spurs, you win, it's confidence booster. No matter who you are, you gain confidence. I think that was a good game for us, especially I think we went down big, if I'm not mistaken, and we came back and won pretty convincingly. That was a big game for us. I can't necessarily say that game is the reason we're playing the way we're playing today. I think just at a point in the season where you want to be playing your best basketball, and the entire season you're aiming to get towards that. You're working to get towards that, to that level, the entire season. And so I think we've done that. I think we're clicking at the right time, and I also think we're still getting better. I don't think we've reached our ceiling yet.
And is there one or two things that you can point to that have really gone in that positive direction at the end of the regular season and now through the playoffs?
I think our defense, has really stepped up a lot. We've picked that up quite a bit. Everybody's locked in on that side of the basketball. You know, I say a perfect example is Clay. You know, he hasn't found his shot pretty much throughout the playoffs, yet he's been just as locked in, if not more locked in than anybody on that side of the basketball, and that's a huge step for us. And then also I think our offensive flow, you know, we're not singling anyone out saying, hey, man, we need to get this guy the ball. We're just doing everything in the flow of the offense. The guys who need to get shots. And, you know, I think our offense is rolling, and we're very powerful when we're playing that way.
First team in history to go 12-0 to start the playoffs. I mean, are you shocked that you were just able to go sweep through the West?
I mean, you never come into the playoffs expecting like, oh, man, we're going to sweep every series, you know, but it's a great thing. But at the end of the day, had we went 4-3, 4-3, and 4-3, we'd still be in the same position. So, you know, it's not the end of the world. It doesn't mean too much. It means we got a little more rest. We played a few less games. But, you know, it's not like you get some trophy or something for being undefeated, you know, throughout the first 3 rounds of the playoffs. You know, it's like I've said it before, it's about winning the championship. And we're 4 games away from that. Now, if that's 4-0, great. You know, if it's 4-3, great. It doesn't matter how you get those 4 wins as long as you get them, and that's our goal.
Cedric Golden, Austin American Statesman. Draymond, Steph got an and one late in the game and stopped just before he shot his free throw to allow Manu to have his moment. What are your impressions of what he's done in his career, and how much gas do you think he's got left in the tank?
I think, you know, I think when you look at the gesture by Steph, that was great. You know, it's much respect. You know, it's for Manu and this entire organization, and he definitely deserved that moment, all he's done for the game of basketball. He kind of worked us pretty good these 4 games, so I think he got, you know, quite a bit left in the tank. You know, obviously it's up to him how much longer he wants to go, but, you know, one thing about it, he's definitely not a liability on the floor. You know, he can still defend. He can still score buckets with the best of them. So I think it's pretty much up to him and how he's feeling personally. But he don't – obviously he's slowed down a step, you know, of where he was 7 years ago. But we all go through that at some point or another. And yet everyone can come out, you know, in the year 15. And I'm pretty sure he probably averaged close to 17, 18 points a game in this series. You know, obviously not the turnout, but, you know, they're also down some of their guys as well. You know, does he play that same way when their guys are out there? Probably so, because he does the same thing for them at all times. And, you know, it could help, you know, be a different outcome the way he was playing. So, you know, definitely much respect to Manu and their organization, but everything that he's done in his career. You know, first ballot Hall of Famer for sure. And, you know, hopefully we'll see more of him. I enjoy watching him play. Still one of the toughest guys. Anytime someone asks me, like, who's the toughest guys you ever guarded in the league, he's one of the ones always in my answer. So, you know, definitely want to see him give it, you know, some more. It's enjoyable to watch. And, you know, but at the end of the day, we all know that it comes to an end Sunday. But it's always great to have that option. You know, everybody don't go out on their own terms. You know, I know he'll have that opportunity, and that's great.